If you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to become part of this community. We are getting closer and closer to the release of J. Cole's new album, The Off Season, that is supposed to drop and is dropping as confirmed by him on May 14th, so it's only a couple of days away, and we're all very excited, looking forward to this. And in this video, I wanted to go over my own expectations for this record, talk about what I am hoping for Cole to do on here, what we know so far about the sound, and just the overall, frame surrounding this thing. So let's get straight into it. So the off-season comes as the first step in this new era of Cole, where we're still getting, for example, that upcoming album, It's a Boy, and then, of course, as the final piece in this era, his fall-off album that we've been waiting for, maybe even longer than the off-season now. The off-season was originally supposed to be a mixtape, but is now... J. Cole himself calls it an album, so I'm guessing it's an album now. But as I said in my past videos on this, the difference really isn't there anymore. An album might sound like a mixtape might sound like an album, so he might as well just call it an album. So what I'm hoping for Cole to do on here is to take his career yet another step further. We've gotten one song so far, Interlude, which was amazing. I dropped a video on that about 2 days ago talking about what we can learn from this new single about the album. And what I mean by taking his career a step further, not in terms, necessarily of commercial success, but we've seen him evolve as an artist just so much from his come-up, literally his come-up mixtape, then Over the Warm-Up, Friday Night Lights, then his first studio album, Cold World, then Born Sinner. We've kind of seen him hit a commercial peak with Forest Hills Drive, then For Your Eyes Only, which is my own personal favorite J. Cole album. It's just something that was really personal, very intimate, and that I just love for the fact of that. And then KOD, of course. We've gotten Revenge of the Dreamers 3, and now we're getting the off season. And all throughout his career, we've seen him evolve, not just as a musical artist, but also as a person. He's become less and less attached to materialistic things. He's kind of, developed his own view of the world and shared that through his music. And I think a lot of listeners, including me, have been heavily influenced by his development in our own development. And he has played a critical role in, all of our lives, because that's just the type of artist he is. He can influence you and touch you on a deeper level than just, listening to his music like you would to any other artist that's on the charts. So that is why a J. Cole album is always very special. It means so much more than just, some more good music. And what we've gotten so far with the Interlude single that we got is amazing. That's exactly what I want from him. This type of perfection in his verse, this type of perfection in the production, mixing, engineering is also what I want him to be on. He is hands-on with this new thing, even having produced that Interlude himself with the help of T-. And so that is why I'm very excited for this. I said that in the last video. So I'm hoping that the rest of the record is also, following in the same footsteps. Because if Cole is someone who I think is very much about wanting to create something that will live forever and is not worried about, the commercial success of it. At this point in his career, it doesn't matter anymore. People have recognized him as one of the best rappers of this generation, as one of the most influential rappers in hip-hop. Today, he's taken on that role of the middle child, as he famously said on his song Middle Child, of, being that bridge over the gap between that old school and the new school sound of hip-hop. And if in this new album he can drop some wisdom, drop some, very personal messages to either side of that gap, then that's all that I could wish for. I'm also hoping for Cole to develop his own sound further musically, because we've seen him kind of employ autotune a little bit on Middle Child, of course, but then also on this latest Interlude single that we got. And I'm hoping that he can combine this. I've seen a lot of you guys in the comments blame him or bash him for that, for using autotune after kind of speaking out against it over all his career, but I think he can use it in a very artistic and creative way that doesn't necessarily have that negative connotation to it. So I'm hoping that he can, develop his own sound a little bit further using, the means of autotune, for example. A lot of you guys are also comparing this to his mixtapes just because the cover art is so reminiscent of this. Of course, the title, The Off Season, also pays homage to, those basketball mixtape days back in the day. So maybe we'll see him go back to some elements that he used back then. As I said, before this was called an album, I was hoping for him to just be in mixtape mode, go crazy with bars, over beats. But ever since this was called an album, and ever since we know that there's also interludes in between, I'm thinking that he'll structure it a little bit more. I'm thinking that he will still, not care about the album structure too much, as to that he would take away from the song's individuality and the songs, just that the songs are fire themselves. But I'm guessing that he, uses some way to frame the whole thing, give it some kind of structure. That's what we've seen him do with a lot of his past records as well. And even though I was very critical of this when he first announced that this was going to be an album, because I just wanted it to be a mixtape, bet like some Friday Night Lights stuff, which I still think it is going to be. I think this can actually, impact this positively. I'm hoping that we'll get a lot of different sounds. I'm hoping, as I said, Friday Night Lights is probably the thing that I would want this to sound like and be structured like the most. A lot of different sounds, a lot of timeless, legendary instrumentals, and Cole just going crazy with, all the experience that he's gathered since the release of Friday Night Lights to bring this to new heights, new peaks, new level of perfection on the off season. That's all that I could wish for. As I said, this interlude single got me really excited. I'm hoping that we'll get some, mixtape day Cole back, mixed with some of the more mature Cole that we've seen over the last couple of years. And that's basically all that, I could wish for. I really want to know what you think about this. Are you excited for the off season? It's dropping in just a couple of days. What do you think of that interlude single that we got? Do you think this will be a direct homage and kind of throwback to the mixtapes, judging from the title and cover art? Do you think that Cole will find a way to reinvent himself on this new thing? And just generally let me know your thoughts about this, because this is, on this channel, it's one of the records that we've been talking about the most, and that's why I'm so excited about this, and I really can't wait for this to drop. This is probably the most excited I've been about a music release in like a year, or like even more than that, so that's that. So yeah, let me know what you think about this. I really want to know, so let me know in the comments down below. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media and blog down in the description. It really helps me out. Until the next one, y'all have an incredible day, and y'all take care.